with you.
Hey, glad you came back. Hey, so today I'm making pho. Now, I was challenged to make this, well, not really challenged, more of a request, by Real Girl Food World, okay? So, I hadn't made one here. The pho place I used to go to, they did me wrong, so I don't go to them no more. And the other one that I used to go to is way down in San Diego, and I'm really not about to drive over an hour to get some pho. I mean, much I love it, I'm not doing it. So, made it myself. Hope you enjoy this recipe. Look at this. I know you can't really see it, but I know you saw the thumbnail. As a matter of fact, let me give you some of that. Hold on. Look at this. This is what we're working with. Yeah. Clear broth, delicious. Super hot. Hope you enjoy it. Hey, this is Shrashira. That's the best elevator music I ever heard. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to roast our two main vegetables. Now, in this case, it's the onion and ginger. It's going to provide some awesome flavor to your broth, but you need to roast it first. And what we're going to do, we're just going to cut them in half, and we're going to put them in a 425-degree oven for about 40-50 minutes, until they get a nice little char, nice roast on it. But we'll see how it goes. We may do it for an hour, we'll see. Let's get on it. So we have our ginger here. Got a whole little piece, and this is probably going to be what? Once you slice it up, maybe a good 4 or 5 inches of ginger. But what I want to do is just cut the little knob off, Then we're going to take that knob and cut it in half. See? Just like that. And then this other end, I'm going to do the exact same thing, the other piece. Right? This little knob that come off here, not really worried about that. And our onion, same thing. Cut it in half. I'm going to take the paper off the outside. Some people prefer to leave the paper on during this roasting process. I don't. If I'm not willing to eat it, I'm not putting it in it to be roasted. Alright, so we throw this stuff away and we'll be right back. Alright, take some of our foil. Now this is a heavy duty. Heavy duty. This is actually thicker than your normal heavy duty. Love this stuff. I buy it by the big roll. Now we're going to add our veggies. Got our onion, our ginger, and we're going to let these roast in the oven. So no oil, nothing. We're just going to put them in here so they can char a bit. .425-degree oven. After about 40 minutes, that's when you want to start checking on it, see how it looks. Okay? You may have to rotate the pan halfway, just get even charring, but keep eye on it. All right, it's been about 40 minutes. What I want to do, they don't have enough char on yet. I'm going to leave the ginger, right? But the onions, I'm just going to turn over. So I can get some char on this other side. And we're going to let this go about 30 minutes. And then we'll be back to take them out. All right, see what we're working with. Oh yeah, that's what we want. Exactly what we want. Look at that. Yep, that's what we want. Sit these, let these cool down. Now that these roasted vegetables, or these charred vegetables as it were, are cooling down, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to wash my bones and meat. And when I get back, it's just an initial, we're just going to rinse it off, get the dust and debris off of it from the saw that they use at the grocery store or the butcher to cut it into those pieces. So we just want to get those off, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. All right, what we have here, we have some beef soup bones, right? About 4 pounds of it, okay? And here we have about 2 pounds of beef short ribs. Now, these are flanking cut, right? So these are what I would use, or what you would see when you're making a Kobe, spare ribs, the Asian spare ribs. Delicious. But I'm going to put this, I'm going to use this to make my pho. I'm going to use it, I'm going to eat it in the pho, okay? So I've already washed these. So now what I'm going to do, we're going to put this in a pot, and we're going to add cold water to it, and we're going to let it boil, come up to a boil, and it's going to boil for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to drain it. And I'll explain to you why here in a minute. You want all that fat and cartilage? You want that. That's going to go in. Now let's add our flanking cut beef short ribs. All right, there we go. Well, now let's turn the heat on. There we go. Let this come up to a boil. Let it boil for 15 minutes, and we'll be right back. Can you see all the impurities that are coming up? All the fat, nastiness. That's why we're boiling it to start. Okay. We're gonna boil it, like I said, 15 minutes. You're gonna get most of that out. Now it's just now starting to come up to a boil, but we want a rolling boil for 15 minutes. You see that? You don't want to eat that. No. That's gross. It's gross. So that's why we're getting rid of it. Let this go we're gonna let this go 15 minutes, like I said, boiling like this. And then we're going to strain it. All right, now we're going to pour this off. All right. Now we need to rinse these guys off. Be careful, it's going to be hot. So I'm rinsing them with cold water just to rinse all those impurities off, because you don't want to put that back into the pot. You know what I mean? The bones are exceptionally hot. Yeah, so get that stuff off of there. Yep, get all that scum off of there. Look at all that gunk that's in there. You don't want to eat that, right? And those are just the big pieces, not to mention what already went down the drain. So I'm going to clean this up, and then we'll be right back. Now, before we get back to the broth, what I want to do is I want to set up the aromatics, right? The other aromatics. And we're going to be putting these in a tea bag because I don't want to go fishing for them when I start straining this stuff, okay? So, I'm going to show you what we're doing or what we're working with, and we'll keep it going. Because what we're going to do, we're going to toast these herbs, right? So it brings out all the flavors. So let's go to it. Now, the aromatics we're going to use, we have a couple bay leaves here, right? We have 2 cinnamon sticks, okay? We have 5 of the star anise, right? See that? Star anise, looks like little stars. We have 4 cardamom pods, and here we have about a tablespoon of fennel seeds. Here we have 2.5 tablespoons of coriander seeds. And then we have our tea bag. Now this tea bag I like this is cotton. It's reusable. You can wash it and keep it moving. So let's go ahead and get these guys toasted up. All right, so we're just gonna toast these real quick. Medium. Cinnamon sticks is gonna break it in half. Bay leaves in, cardamom pods go in, fennel seeds in, star anise goes in, coriander seeds go in. Okay? And we just want to toast these just for a couple minutes. So when you're toasting these, when you start to smell the fragrance of everything getting warmed up, you have roughly about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes until you're done. Okay? You're not really trying to brown them, you're not blackening them, no, you're just roasting them. Just trying to make the herbs release their natural oils. Now, if you put them in and you see a bunch of smoke coming up, yeah, your pan's too hot. See how I'm starting to get whiffs of the seasoning now, of the herbs. Starting to smell it. But you want to constantly move it around, you see? You don't want to burn them. Oh, it smells so good in here. I wish you could smell it. So I'm going to finish roasting these and I'll be right back. I don't know if you can hear it, a little popping. I'm starting to see a little bit of whiffs of smoke. And this is done. So we're going to turn the heat off of this guy. And let's go ahead and bag this bad boy up. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take our seasonings in our tea bag here. We're going to put them in. Now, it's going to tie this bad boy up. Get it nice and wrapped. And we're going to add this in roughly at about the 3-hour mark. All right, now back to the broth. I put the beef, the bones, and the ribs, I put those back into the pot, and I added about 30 cups of water, okay? And now to that, we're going to add our roasted onions, nicely caramelized, our ginger, and we're also going to add 2.5 tablespoons of fish sauce, Okay? Want to add that. So let's do that right now. So I'm going to add my onions in. My ginger. And my fish sauce. Now I'm going to briefly put the lid on this because I want it to come to a boil relatively quickly. And once it comes to a boil, I'm going to reduce the heat to low, like very low. Now I've turned it down to low. Look at this. Look how clear it is. Now you have some bubbles here from the fat, and here in about an hour we're going to be skimming that off. Okay, so don't worry about that. So I'm going to let this go for an hour. We're going to skim it, and at the 2-hour mark we're going to take out the ribs. We're going to remove the ribs at the 2-hour mark. Alright? Oh yeah. Now during the making of this broth, do not stick your spoon in there and start stirring it around. Don't do that. Okay? If you do that, all the impurities, the fat, and that trash that comes to the top, it will sink to the bottom. Your broth is going to result in being cloudy. Sometimes it might even be grainy. You don't want that. Right? So don't mess with it. All you're doing is you're skimming the fat and the debris off the top with your skimmer. Okay? That's all you're doing. Okay? If you stir it, you're going to mess the whole thing up, so don't do that. So keep that in your brain meat. Yeah, so you don't want a rolling boil. You want it to simmer. See how you're barely getting bubbles? What that's going to do, have these little impurities across the top, little bits of fat. So take your mesh strainer, and we're going to scoop those out. We're only messing with the top of the water. Okay? Right? All the stuff that's floating up top, we're going to get rid of it. All the little impurities and extra fat. Now you're going to see oil, that's fine. The little beads of oil, that's fine. But the little pieces of debris that may float up, we need to get that. There we go. Doesn't seem like much, but over the hours it will build up. So we're going to let this go for another hour, and at that time we're going to pull out the flanking ribs, the short ribs, and we're going to let it keep going. Alright, another hour. This is hour 2, so we're just going to go through, just skim across the top, get some more of this fat. Alright. More of that because we want the broth to be clear, so this is what we want. Get that off of there. Now also, since it's 2 hours, we want to remove the ribs. We're going to let them cool down. When they cool down for about an hour, then we're going to put them in the fridge to use later. We're going to carefully remove them because we're not trying to disturb the bones, you see. Now we're going to let this go for another hour, and then we're going to add our seasoning. So it's been 3 hours. Gonna skim this guy again. I like to do this every hour. Just skim the fat and the muck off the top. broth to be clear, right? At this point, I want to add our spice bag in. Alright, now this is going to go for another 7 hours. But every hour we're going to come back and skim the top. So the time's up. I'm going to get a little bit here, give it a little taste. Careful because it's hot. A little taste. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So, what we're going to do is start taking this stuff out. Take the pouch out first. Now let's grab the onions. The ginger. Now we need to carefully get the bones out. I'm removing the bones right now because we're going to drain this or strain it. And I don't want all the extra splashing. Okay, let's strain this. So what I've done, I've doubled up some cheesecloth, right? I'm going to strain my colander. Going to go into another pot. Okay? I don't want any debris in there. So it's going to catch all the fat pieces, any debris. I want to keep that out of my broth now that it's done. So now here's our new broth. So I want to let the broth cool down because I'm going to put it in a jar, right? Because it's late night right now. And I'm actually going to enjoy this tomorrow. But I want to put it into a jar and it'll hold, once it cools all the way down, I'm going to put it in the fridge. It'll hold in your fridge for about 4 or 5 days. Okay? So you can make this ahead of time. And then when you're ready to eat, you warm it back up and you enjoy it. But right now it is way too hot to eat right now. So since it's almost midnight, I'm going to enjoy this tomorrow. So I want to let the broth cool down because I'm going to put it in a jar, right? Because it's late night right now. And I'm actually going to enjoy this tomorrow. But I want to put it into the jar and it'll hold, once it cools all the way down, I'm going to put it in the fridge. It'll hold in your fridge for about 4 or 5 days. Okay? So you can make this ahead of time. And then when you're ready to eat, you warm it back up and you enjoy it. But right now it is way too hot to eat right now. So since it's almost midnight, I'm going to enjoy this tomorrow. Alright, so it's the next day. We're going to put this stuff together now. What I've done, I'm building Mama Shaw's bowl right now. So I took one of the ribs, I warmed it through in the broth. I'm going to take it out, cut it right now, and start building this up for you guys. Well, build it up for her. She's going to enjoy it. I'll do mine a little later. Alright, let's cut this rib up right between the bones. I'm not going to give her the bone. I'm going to just cut the bone out. If you want to keep the bone in yours, by all means, keep it in there. But I'm not. Place the meat on the noodles. Alright. She also wanted some thinly sliced New York strip, so we got that. Put some of that on it. And of course, this is the shabu shabu meat. And then we got some thinly sliced beef. It's gonna go here. Okay, we're gonna put a little bit of onion on it. And these onions, I soaked them for 30 minutes. Okay, so it'll knock some of the sting off of that such a strong flavor it has. And I'm gonna put a little bit of cilantro. Now I put green onions on it. The scallions. And sprinkle it all around there. Alright, now we need to add the broth and we'll be ready to go. Broth. And the broth, because it's so hot, is going to cook the raw meat. So you don't have to worry about that. You know, much like a hot pot. And there we have it. So here we have it, homemade pho. Now this is Mama Shaw's bowl, right? It's a delicious bowl. This broth, man, it's incredible. You gotta try this out. If you like this, give me a thumbs up, right? If you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button. You know our arms are open, and we'll leave the light on for you so you can find your way to us. Also, if we're not connected on Instagram, go to Instagram. Put my name in, Shrashira. Find the gray cat, and let's connect. Also, if you could share me out, greatly appreciate it. That being said, I got to get this to Mama Shaw. She's waving back and forth right now. Hope you enjoy it.